Are INFPs more likely to be undervalued than other personality types? For most of my life, I felt like that. I felt that people were not fair, that I was getting the short end of the stick all the time, and that there was nothing I could do about it, and everybody else succeeded where I could not. And it took a lot of work. It took a lot of doing things outside of my comfort zone and learning about my behaviors and patterns and processes to get out of that mindset. So I want to give you some of the tips and tricks and techniques and experiences that help me to see the world as a friendly place, to see the universe as a place that is there to support me instead of me trying to claw my way through it. And first, I want to make sure that we understand that there's no intention of victim blaming. I want to just make sure that we know that we are responsible for most of the interactions in our lives. Like we are a node within that. Our existence and our actions and our beliefs and our skills and the things that we do and the perception of our identity all go into our impact in a situation. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that if I treat myself and think to myself that I cannot succeed, or that I'm bad, that I'm a failure, that there's nothing I can do, that I'm 20 years old and it's time to give up, then I'm not going to succeed, and other people are going to see that too. Us human animals are really perceptive of everything that's going on. And people know when you don't believe that you can succeed or when you have low self-esteem. And some people will poke at that. Some people will tease. Some people will be cruel. Those people are, I believe, less of a number than the grand majority of people. I believe that most people have some positive or neutral intent for the things that they're doing. They're just going along their day. They're doing their own thing. It's not intentionally to ruin my life, to make everything hard for me. And I suggest that you take that mindset on, whether you believe it now or not. Bring that mindset with you as a presupposition when you are going into a situation. Like suppose that things will work out better, that people don't have negative intent, and you will find ways for that to be true. If you assume that everybody has malice and negative intent, then you will find ways for that to be true too. So we got really deep, really quick into this. That was not the intention. It could be I'm getting over some strep throat, and so my brain's a little foggy too. That's what I'm going to blame it on. Anyway, so first, one thing to be clear and aware of is that there are miscommunications. That people miscommunicate all the time about everything. I believe that most of the time we are probably miscommunicating. And it might be at a level that is okay. But a lot of times as well, it's like, you did this thing and this thing happened and this and this. And it's all just like blown out of proportion, and it really doesn't mean anything. And your actions were not aligned with how you wanted to express them or something like that. Or their interactions with you came off as something that rubbed up against one of your values, and that was not intentional. These little things that happen. As you know, as an INFP, we are extremely complex. People are extremely complex. You bring in another person into the mix, and it just goes infinitely foobar. It's wild. And that's something that we have to deal with. And so if you assume that people are just doing their own thing to the best of their ability, then it makes things a lot lighter and easier. And I know, like, maybe you don't want to believe that. Maybe you have a bad history of trauma and bad things happening, and I'm sorry that that's true, if it is. But that's a generalization of, several interactions or a handful of interactions. So are we being undervalued? Maybe. Maybe being undervalued is just them not seeing our value, not seeing what we bring to the world. It's not that they're trying to dim our light or snuff out our spark. It's that they just don't understand how to appreciate it. And I know from myself that not expressing it, not expressing who I am and my identity and what's important to me and my creativity is the quickest way for them to not appreciate me and where I'm coming from, and to not understand me and where I'm coming from. And that feels like I am being undervalued. And I take that on me. I take that burden on me. Whether you want to or not, that's your choice. But I take it on me as, okay, I'm not communicating it in the way that I should if my goal is to have them see my value. So I need to do things that are probably outside of my comfort zone and a struggle until they become within my comfort zone and less of a struggle. It's like if you're in an RPG and you're exploring a new place, you got the fog of war, right? Everything's dark on the map, on the mini map, right? And you walk over there and it starts to like open up a bit. That's you expanding your comfort zone from what you knew you could do to hesitancy, to I'm not sure if this will work out or not. And once you do that, even if you go back to the starting place, you know, they got like the second layer of fog of war that's just a little gray, and it was kind of like the snapshot of the previous time that you were there. I know I'm geeking out, far beyond some people, but that is something that we constantly need to go out and clear again, right? And go check again and go test again. If we got this negative experience when we got outside of our comfort zone and we ran back to the Shire, and we have this snapshot of how bad it was before, it's not always like that. So we can take steps out, we can explore a bit more, get some feedback, get some updates, and see that it's not that bad. Even when it feels like it is, it's not always that bad. Anyway, so make sure that you clarify your intentions and use that to bridge communication. This is important to me. This is what I'm trying to do. Did you understand that? Check in with them. Because likely they'll be like, oh no, I thought you were doing something else. You were just clarifying your intentions. Ooh, that's one I get all the time. So I understand that one too. Another thing to be aware of is that there is a massive range of personalities, not just the 16 Myers-Briggs types, but bring an Enneagram and different flavors of all these different things and life experiences. And it means that people have a different perception of the world. And what they see as the golden rule, do unto others as you would like to have done unto you, is different than for us, for what it is for us. So them seeing things as, okay, you need to suck it up and accomplish your goals, finish your tasks on time, move forward, make progress in your life so that you are seen as successful. Well, that's not necessarily our direction. And that's okay. We need the commanders in the world. We need the adepts. We need the mystics. We need the explorers and the soul and the envoys and the guardians and the adventurers. We need all 8 of these different character classes. If we don't have them, then the world gets way out of balance, which is why INFPs need to get better at expressing our values and allowing us to be seen as valuable. And I know that's a painted word, probably kind of feels weird, right? To allow yourself to be seen as valuable, but you are. We all are. And finding ways of expressing that and tapping into that and finding what's important to us is key to living a fulfilling and happy life, especially as INFPs. Now, another reason why people might undervalue us or see us as weak is possibly because of projection. Their weakness is seen in us, especially like ETJs, ESTJs, ENTJs. Like that's their inferior function. Introverted feeling, this aspect of our personality type that we hold really high, and this is delving into our soul and what resonates with us and sifting through our intentions to find our true identities. And that's seen as a weakness for those people very often until they do work on themselves or, live through it. Just like for us, we see, getting things done, accomplishing tasks as like not really as fulfilling, as something that we also struggle with, that we have an inferiority complex around. And it takes a lot to be aware of that and to be aware of when we are or when they are projecting. You can kind of see it. And in those cases, yeah, they're undervaluing perhaps, but it's not like I'm going to undervalue this person. Usually, it's a thing that comes out. And in those moments, I've learned to just look at them and just, be happy that I am me and not them. And maybe that sounds cruel. I don't know. But just like when people are going crazy or being like mean, doing stupid, really overly emotional stuff that causes chaos for the whole family, I'm like, I remember when I was kind of in that zone, and I've grown out of that. That's awesome. And I'm sorry that they are older than me and still dealing with that stuff. So you have your strengths as an INFP. We spend so much time in introverted feeling, understanding ourselves, that we have it as a superpower. We just need to really lean into extroverted intuiting, the explore, start innovating, start creating new things, and putting it out there into the world, sharing it as memes and stories and ideas, art, dance, music, all that stuff. So see vulnerability as a strength. And that can be quite difficult. I remember my time when I thought of myself as a rogue. Maybe you know this story. I was in a club and my friend kind of went out to go explore and talk to people, and I was just by myself and had my Long Island iced tea, and I was just kind of drinking by myself and looked into the reflection. And I saw myself. I was like, wow, this is not me. Like I'm not living the life that I expected to, that I wanted to. I always saw myself as a rogue, stealthy, crafty, just like one shot, one shot, one kill. I don't know, like kind of protecting my tight knit group of people and emotionless. And that was a really hard facade to hold up for a decade or more. But when I saw myself as a healer and allowed myself to be more squishy, allow myself to wear a cloth robe instead of leather armor, allowed myself to go out there and heal and make sure other people were feeling okay, because I had higher reserves of mana. I could keep myself healed. I can go heal somebody else too. Completely changed my life. Seeing that as a strength instead of a weakness, instead of trying to push away all emotions or push them down and run away from them, hide from them. It's not the place you want to be, especially as an INFP. You see? I can rhyme. So what can you do when you are feeling undervalued? First, having a support group. Having your crew. Joining us in the INFP Discord. If you go to inowfeelpositive.com, you can get the 5-day INFP course. It's free, and that has the link to get into the INFP Discord. And find a place where people understand you. Even if it's just intuitive people, not necessarily INFPs. You'll be able to resonate more with them, and they'll be able to support you more because they likely understand your position. If you want to do what I often do, which is just hold it all in and bottle it up and deal with it myself, then I found journaling and parts work to be really helpful, and self-hypnosis as well. But getting other people on your side is really helpful, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Also, see this as a growth opportunity. If there's somebody that you work with that just really doesn't like you, your boss just always on you and like telling you you're too slow. I remember when I worked at Subway when I was like 15, 16 for like less than $6 an hour. It was a long time ago. My boss did not like me. Oh man, he hated me. And I was slow. and I could have been a better worker, for sure. But I was in my headspace, my ideas, my emotions. And that's always kind of stuck with me as, okay, maybe he was an asshole. But yes, he was. He got fired for something that I can't even explain here. But there's a lesson within that. And I can have gratitude for that situation. I can see it as, okay, somebody had that perception of me. Is it one that I want to take on? Do you want to take on that perception and, adapt to it, gain some new skills around it, test your identity, stretch your comfort zone, or not? That's your choice. But having awareness of it and wrapping it with gratitude, thank you for it happening. It sucks, but what can I do with it? Is extremely important. And it builds resilience, and it builds the ability to bounce back and to adapt and to thrive and to cope. And those are all skills that will last you for the rest of your life, as opposed to seeing other people as bad people, bullies, which I get it. Sometimes they are. Feel bad for them. Maybe support them. Many times I get comments on YouTube videos. Not compared to most YouTube channels, but I get some trolly comments. And I have several times written that person back in the comments and been like, man, are you okay? Like, what happened? Do you need to talk about it? And I've had people write back like, sorry, I was having a really bad day. My dad just passed away. I don't know how to deal with it. So I'm just taking out my anger on anonymously on the web. That is a completely different interaction than me seeing them as a bad person. And that has really helped me. It's not easy, I know. But it is something that we can do. Might take some time, but think of it as gaining XP, experience, as you're going on questing through life. Each XP adds up, it moves the needle until you ding up and you're like, wow, I have this new paradigm shift, this new understanding of the world. And when you have that, you can't go back. So again, to summarize this, one thing that's helped me is to assume that people don't have malice and negative intentions. Just go into life assuming that I'm misreading something or they're having a bad day. And then allow myself to adapt to that. See what they're doing, take it on, don't take it on. If it gets stuck in my head, I can do some neuro-linguistic programming stuff, NLP stuff, which, I can turn the sound down if it's just looping sound. I can move it away. I can do tapping. If you don't know tapping, I suggest you learn tapping. You can get it within infp.geekpsychology.com in the INFP Masterclass. There's so many things that we can do to adjust our state, to change what's going on inside, if we want to. So, if I don't want to take it on, throw it out, delete it. If I do want to take it on, then, track it. What's the lesson that I can get from this? And next time I'm in that situation, I will have the awareness sooner that this is what's going on, and I can adapt sooner. It might not be right away. Maybe after it happens, it still takes a week for me to get over it. But then the next time, it'll just take a couple days. And maybe next time I'll catch it in real time. Maybe the time before that, or the next time I'll catch it before it actually happens. So those are some approaches that I've used to appreciate my value and to express my value more. And when I am feeling undervalued, those are things that I've learned that you can do now too, to help you get into a better state and a better relationship, a better situation, so that you can be happy, so that you can shine. You can use that spark to start a nice bonfire, gather everybody around, have a nice kumbaya party, give everybody some tea and cats. I don't know if cats would be good around the fire. That's probably not a good thing. Share some books, play some music. Have a nice world where INFPs are thriving.